I think self-discipline is something, it's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Instilling a sense of self-discipline and focus when the kids are younger makes it so much easier by the time they get into high school. I had a difficult relationship with my parents, who died young, but they instilled self-discipline and a sense of honor and loyalty and accountability. I'm grateful for that. Worrying about bills, food, or other problems leaves less capacity to think ahead or to exert self-discipline. So, poverty imposes a mental tax. Just because you're struggling with self-discipline doesn't mean you have to raise the white flag and declare your self-improvement efforts a complete failure. Instead, work to increase the chances that you'll stick to your healthier habits, even when you don't feel like it. Everybody starts at the top, and then has the problem of staying there. Lasting accomplishment, however, is still achieved through a long, slow climb and self-discipline. I concluded that Donald Trump lacked the temperament, the judgment and the self-discipline to heal the divisions in our country, which are very real, and to be commander-in-chief. In reading the lives of great men, I found that the first victory they won was over themselves. Self-discipline with all of them came first. It is time to return to core values, time to get back to basics, to self-discipline and respect for the law, to consideration for the others, to accepting responsibility for yourself and your family, and not shuffling it off on other people and the state. I used to refer to myself as a theoretical anorexic, just as crazy when it came to body image, but saved by a lack of self-discipline. My daughters do everything better than I do, they're smarter, more beautiful, happier. What if they end up better at anorexia, too? I gave up tennis to study, but not before it had shown me how to focus and concentrate. It taught me self-discipline. I was playing 4 or 5 hours a day and doing 5-mile runs. When I stopped, my energy had to be channeled into something else. I played football for 19 years. Football gave me self-discipline, motivation, and heart. Marriage civilizes males by making them responsible for their children and by imposing on boys the need to develop the bourgeois habits of self-discipline and work that make them attractive mates. I do like athletes as they have amazing self-discipline. Self-denial and self-discipline, however, will be recognized as the outstanding qualities of a good soldier. Being homeschooled is awesome because you can make your own schedule, so as far as time management, it's up to you how much you get done and when you get it done. It's all got to get done, how you do it is up to you. You need a lot of self-discipline, but luckily, I have it. Long term, we must begin to build our internal strengths. It isn't just skills like computer technology, it's the old-fashioned basics of self-reliance, self-motivation, self-reinforcement, self-discipline, self-command. Whether you call it Buddhism or another religion, self-discipline, that's important. Self-discipline with awareness of consequences. I see my upbringing as a great success story. By disciplining me, my parents inculcated self-discipline, and by restricting my choices as a child, they gave me so many choices in my life as an adult. Because of what they did then, I get to do the work I love now. Work while you work, play while you play, this is a basic rule of repressive self-discipline. I like the detail work of telling a story in small pieces, as is done in movie making, and also the long leap of faith needed to see a theater performance through each night. Both require focus and self-discipline. The Olympic Games showed us that with self-discipline and dedication we can be champions. The most difficult thing about painting is the self-discipline. When I finish a job, I give myself a few days, but then I have to discipline myself quite fiercely if I want to do some painting that's worthwhile. Otherwise, you're just doodling. It's much easier when you're just told what you have to do. Self-discipline is what separates the winners and the losers. Self-government won't work without self-discipline. Happiness is dependent on self-discipline. We are the biggest obstacles to our own happiness. It is much easier to do battle with society and with others than to fight our own nature. Many men and women in the world demonstrate great willpower and self-discipline in overcoming bad habits and the weaknesses of the flesh. When people ask me about what I learned from martial arts, I don't talk about favorite punches or kicks, or about fights won or lost. I talk about learning self-discipline, about ethics and manners and benevolence and fairness. I think of discipline as the continual everyday process of helping a child learn self-discipline. My father did lots of things. He had an orange juice factory. He did real estate. He did commercial selling. He was always up and about doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things and being adventurous. I always admired his self-discipline. He was very good at getting everything done. He was very tidy. I'm very passionate about the use of sports in young people's lives to build self-esteem and self-discipline and self-confidence. It's been a big thing for me. The only discipline that lasts is self-discipline. Giftedness gives you this amazing toolkit for handling self-discipline and gives you an area of knowledge, but then it also gives you this weird set of aspirations. Playing football helped me to gain self-discipline, confidence, negotiation skills, teamwork and leadership. For me it was perfect, because it wasn't a very competitive environment, and it was a studio program. They basically send you off, and say, bring us some work, and we'll help you improve it. It really rewarded self-discipline. I value self-discipline, but creating systems that make it next to impossible to misbehave is more reliable than self-control. As wonderful as they were, my parents didn't teach me anything about self-discipline, concentration, patience, or focus. If I hadn't had a family myself, I probably never would have done anything. Marriage taught me responsibility. Self-discipline is an act of cultivation. It requires you to connect today's actions to tomorrow's results. There's a season for sowing, a season for reaping. Self-discipline helps you know which is which. I can tell you character traits I admire and work to develop in myself: perseverance, self-discipline, courage to stand up for what is right even when it is against one's friends or oneself. Getting new information through web surfing almost always feels more rewarding than having to generate new information in the work that is in front of us. It therefore takes increasing amounts of self-discipline to stay on task. One of our problems is our sense of discipline. Dancers have an extraordinary sense of self-discipline. If you set goals for yourself, and you're like a lot of other people, you probably realize it's not that your goals are physically impossible that's keeping you from achieving them. It's that you lack the self-discipline to stick to them. It's physically possible to lose weight. It's physically possible to exercise more. I think most people have a general sense that when you're released from prison, life is hard, but, you know, if you work hard and apply self-discipline and stay out of trouble, you can make it. But that's true only for a relative few. Most talk about super geniuses is nonsense. I have found that when stars drop out, successors are usually at hand to fill their places. And the successors are merely men who have learned by application and self-discipline to get full production from an average, normal brain. The Dalai Lama's entire being is about peace and harmony, forgiveness and self-discipline. Those are qualities to be admired. I am really looking forward to meeting His Holiness. We all have dreams. But in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. With self-discipline most anything is possible. Respect your efforts, respect yourself. Self-respect leads to self-discipline. When you have both firmly under your belt, that's real power. I don't have the self-discipline for diets. I break rules I set for myself, so I try and eat more healthily, juice more, and avoid sugar. I just feel like if I push myself and I kill myself, then I have self-discipline within myself. That's how you turn into a true pro. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.